This is South Jersey sports leader, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennig.
Motion, tipped it. Carr, back. Carr steps up. Hit as he fires the football, and it is intercepted! It is intercepted by Reed Blankenship! It's intercepted by Reed Blankenship, and the Eagles are going to pull off the upset.
Second time this season, Reed Blankenship has a clutch interception that helps seal a game as the Eagles are now 2-1. The Philadelphia Eagles are one of only 7 teams in the NFC that have a 2-1 or better record. Every other team in the NFC East is 1-2. And there's only 2 undefeated teams in the NFC. And I don't think anyone out there would have guessed those 2 would be the Vikings and the Seahawks. The state of the NFL is in flux, and we'll get into all coming up this hour here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. I'm going to give you a full breakdown of the full schedule, get your guys' thoughts and reactions throughout the hour. How you feeling after the Eagles win? You know, I said it in jest on Friday's show when I told you guys to text in at 609-403-0973 and DM us through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. I said it in jest that we can wallow in our misery together when I was at Doyle's Poorhouse Pub in Tuckerton yesterday, which was a great turnout. Thank you so much to Lou, Danny, and everybody over there at Doyle's Poorhouse. Just a great time watching the Eagles game, hanging out with everybody out there. And I legitimately thought the Eagles were going to lose this game. I walked into this situation with the idea that I didn't think the Eagles were going to be able to get the job done defensively. Well, almost everybody, including myself, was wrong. And I'm here to explain to you why here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Because I started seeing it a little bit during the game on Sunday afternoon. And when I rewatched the game last night, it all started really coming much more clear to me, which was Vic Fangio made a statement yesterday. And we'll get to the Jalen Hurts situation because I have some legitimate concerns about the Eagles' offense, and it might not be the issues that everyone else is talking about. But Vic Fangio, he tried to tell us this last week that this game was coming. And I got to admit, people like myself, we looked at Fangio when he said this, and we all made fun of him.
You know, not wholesale changes. No, we need to do a better job with me at the lead of preparing the guys to play with better technique and better discipline.
The Eagles have now allowed fewer points in 3 straight weeks. They allowed 29 points to the Packers, 22 points to the Falcons, and 12 points to the Saints. They allowed 414 total yards to Green Bay, 385 total yards to the Falcons, and 219 in New Orleans. How does a defense get better each week? Well, it's for 2 specific reasons. One, there are many of you out there who have been screaming from the rooftops when these guys don't play in the preseason, how it impacts the game. Well, we now have seen, big picture, that concept is playing out in real time in front of us, more so than ever before. And I know it's impacted each team differently. And I understand where these coaches are coming from. The Sean McVays of the world and others, they believe in not playing guys in the preseason because it's not useful, basically. And I get where they're coming from. They don't want to see guys get injured. But it's obvious to me the Eagles defense is starting to find their footing 3 weeks into the season. Well, at least most of the defense. Bryce Huff is still a waste of an ROI at this point. I mean, this dude was given millions of dollars and he seemingly can't do anything. And if you're Vic Fangio, I know that you're probably getting pressure from Howie Roseman to figure it out. But if you're Fangio, you're probably saying, figure what out? Like, this guy he is what he is right now at this point. Very good game from Brandon Graham yesterday. And the defense is starting to find their sea legs. They're finally starting to understand how the Vic Fangio system works. Jalen Carter was a monster. Jordan Davis was a monster in the middle yesterday. And even though their stats don't show up on the stat sheet as a monster game, you saw a variation of what a lot of us were hoping for when they drafted these guys. You know, guys like myself, we're old enough to remember Williams in Minnesota, Pat Williams and Kevin Williams, how much of a game wreckers those guys were. You go back to the early 2000s when it was Warren Sapp and Anthony McFarland down in Tampa. You know, you go to the Ravens, their first Super Bowl when it was Tony Saragusa and Sam Adams. Those tandem D tackles that can wreak havoc. You started to see it yesterday, and I'm not saying anybody tried to hurt anybody, but when the center McCoy for the Saints got injured, that was clearly because Davis and Carter were such a handful for him to deal with. He basically overwhelmed him, and he got hurt in a pileup, basically. Those guys impacted the game. And we have been asking, where's Jalen Carter? Is Jordan Davis a waste? Fangio said, I got to coach these guys up better. We're going to figure this out. Well, they did figure it out because the big guys up front were the difference. The Eagles had 6 tackles for a loss in New Orleans. They had a total of 7 in the first 2 weeks of the year. They almost had the same number of tackles for loss in one game they had the entire year. The Eagles' pass defense, Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slay, great games by those guys. The Eagles had 8 passes defended or deflected in the game. They had 8 the entire year leading into this game. Everyone on defense picked up their game plan. But that leads us to the second reason why. Vic Fangio, a coach who is in his 70s, has seen more football and forgotten more of that football than some of us will ever know. I don't think it's a coincidence that you had 3 straight games with teams that run variations of the Mike Shanahan system. Fangio figured out the Rubik's Cube. He said, fool me once, fool me twice. You know that saying, right? Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fangio said, don't give me a third chance. He told Clint Kubiak, before you were born, kid, I was coaching defense. Watch this. Kubiak had no answers. They did an amazing job at containing Kamara. They did an amazing job at not letting Raheem Rashid get wide open. They did a great job at limiting the amount of times Chris Olave was open. And because the Saints were already without Taysom Hill in this game, they lost a part of the creativity they have on their offense, and Derek Carr was turned back into a mortal. Derek Carr is not a bad quarterback in the NFL, but he's not elite either. Derek Carr hangs out somewhere between Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff. Derek Carr is good enough to win you football games in the NFL, but he's not good enough to carry an entire football team. And you saw in this game how essential it was, how clear it was that for this game, for this situation, in this environment, Philadelphia's defense stood tall, stood strong. And how about Reed Blankenship? Another game-winning interception. I'll check back in the text board coming up in 8 minutes at 609-403-0973. Jeff from Ocean City, your text and more to come. But we got to mention Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert became the 5th tight end in NFL history with 10 receptions and 170 receiving yards in a game in the last 20 years. And you look at the list of guys he joins: Jimmy Graham, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Darren Waller. Welcome to the 2024 NFL season, Dallas Goedert. Now, we do have to ask the question, is this just one game? And I think there's a bigger question to be had about the Kellen Moore offense, because Kellen Moore's offense is predicated on distributing the ball and using the tight end. And Jalen Hurts even said himself, it's my job to be a point guard. And there are times that Jalen Hurts, like on the Goddard pass, looks like a point guard. And look, the Johnny Wilson drop was pathetic, but overall, Hurts did his job for most of the game, except for 2 plays. And it's those 2 plays that are starting to make you wonder how much of what is going on is the quarterback and how much of it is the offensive coordinator. Because Dallas Goedert finally had the game that we've all been waiting for. Dallas Goedert finally had the game where he looks like the talented receiver at tight end that we all know he can be. Look, we know who Saquon is. Saquon is one of the best running backs in the NFL. He is incredibly physically gifted. We all know that. There's no, like, it's amazing to watch him because he's such an amazing talent, but no one's shocked by Saquon Barkley having 156 total yards from scrimmage. There's no one saying, man, I never thought Saquon could score all these touchdowns. That's never an issue. So I'm not surprised that they had success with Saquon. By the way, those 147 rushing yards in the game all came in quarters 2 through 4. He had 0 in the first quarter. Keep that in mind, what his numbers could have been if they ran him from the start of the game. All of us thought Kellen Moore was being brought in here to fix Jalen Hurts, to recalibrate this offense. And moments like the Goddard pass, moments like, when you see Hurts run that big gain down the middle of the field of eluding tacklers, like moments like that, you're like, he's back, he's doing his thing. But then there's other moments where you see that interception in the red zone and you're looking around like, what are we doing? And whether it's Sirianni's fault, whether it's Kellen Moore's fault, I kind of don't care whose fault it is at this point. Whoever's call it was to run that fake tush push and it completely blow up. Take that play, throw out the playbook. I never want to see that again. That was an absolute and utter embarrassing play. And I just don't care whose fault it was. Whoever's fault it was, I never want to see that play again. Jalen Hurts has now thrown 19 interceptions in his last 20 regular season starts. And if you include the playoff game last year, he has thrown an interception in 8 straight games. I'm running out of explanations for where we draw the line between where we blame the coach and where we blame the player. Because historically, I'm a blame the player guy. But I'm starting to wonder where we put the blame on the coaches. Because I'm watching around the NFL yesterday. Sam Darnold in Minnesota, Malik Willis in Green Bay. These guys look like they went into like a metamorphosis machine and came out different people. I've never seen these guys this good. Geno Smith was a nobody with the Jets. He's a somebody in Seattle. You see the job that Kyle Shanahan has done with different quarterbacks over the years. I mean, Brock Purdy did everything he could to try to help his team win the game, and his defense failed him in that game. you look at what Sean McVay has done with multiple quarterbacks during his time with the Rams. You look at Jared Goff elevating his game in Detroit. I can keep going on and on. There is a clear and obvious distinction of who the good coaches are in this league. And if you think it's a coincidence that Denver went to Tampa and beat the snot out of Tampa, then you conveniently forget that Sean McVay coached in New Orleans for almost 2 decades, okay? And he's very familiar with Todd Bowles and his defense. Where do we start looking at Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore and start questioning them and saying, why can't you do with Jalen Hurts what Shane Steichen did 2 years ago? Why can't you do with Jalen Hurts what Matt LaFleur is doing with Malik Willis, what Kevin O'Connell is doing with Sam Darnold, what Kyle Shanahan has done with almost every quarterback he's ever touched, right? Sean McVay with the Rams. Why can the Eagles not do it with Jalen Hurts? Because there's nobody listening to Sound My Voice on 97.3 ESPN who's going to tell me that Malik Willis and Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy are exceptionally better quarterbacks than Jalen Hurts. You want to tell me Matt Stafford is? I can work with that. I saw Stafford do what he does with the Rams as well with Detroit. But nobody out there thinks these other quarterbacks are that much better than Jalen Hurts. So why can Vic Fangio figure out the Rubik's Cube of his players, but Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni can't with their quarterback? Why is Shane Steichen the only guy to get the most out of Jalen Hurts so far, similar to how Frank Reich got the most out of Carson Wentz years ago? What is it with this organization and being unable to find the next guy for their quarterbacks? We'll check out the text board coming up next. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. We've got a couple texts to get to here, as well as Jeff from Ocean City, your text and more. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Monday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how we're on the app. You can listen to Monday Night Football. Yes, every primetime NFL game is on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, as well as 97.3 ESPN FM. Tonight, Doug Peterson's Jags versus Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills. Coverage at 7:30 p.m. tonight on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small.
Can't wake up without it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Cooper's our new neighbor down the shore.
Introducing Cooper University Hospital, Cape Regional.
Healthcare is going to improve in Cape May County.
We're excited to bring our award-winning care to our new neighbors in Cape May and Atlantic counties. You'll have greater access to top specialists, advanced technology, innovative treatments, and outstanding cancer care at MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper. Cooper University Healthcare. Together, we're doing something extraordinary for families down the shore.
Pros, now's your chance to save big during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Right now, save big on appliances like the GE Stainless Steel Kitchen Suite. Plus, save $40 on 5-gallon pails of Valspar Reserve, Valspar Defense, and Valspar Stain. Shop Pro Savings Days today for big savings on everything you need to get the job done right. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 9/27 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are going to need a bigger cake.
Now through October 10th, upgrade and switch to 300 megabit Xfinity internet with unlimited data and one line of unlimited mobile for just $35 a month for 1 year. Plus, get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and an auto-pay stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Powered by the all-new BetParks New Jersey Casino and Sportsbook app. BetParks.com. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NFL, the Eagles defeat the New Orleans Saints 15-12 on Sunday at the Superdome, raising their record to 2-1. Jalen Hurts threw for 311 yards with an interception. Saquon Barkley ran for 147 yards with 2 scores, including a 65-yarder in the fourth quarter. He then sealed the game with a 4-yard touchdown run with just over a minute remaining. The Eagles had 460 yards of offense. They'll travel to face Tampa Bay on Sunday for week number 4. Major League Baseball, the Phillies hosting the Chicago Cubs tonight to begin a 3-game series with 6 games remaining on the regular season. The Phillies lead the NL East by 5 games over the Mets. They will start Aaron Nola. He's 12-8, an ERA of 3.54. Justin Steele will go for the Cubs. He's 5-5, has an ERA of 3.03. Philadelphia lost to the Mets Sunday 2-1. They dropped 3 of 4 in that series. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60-plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. This week's forecast is a noticeable departure from our long stretch of boring sunny weather. We even have a couple potential rounds of rain to talk about, but not the kind of drought-busting soaking we really need. There is a chance of a shower early this evening, then clouds overnight, low temperature 61. Mostly cloudy, maybe a sprinkle tomorrow, high of 70. Cloudy, breezy Wednesday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 72. Get weather 24/7 or wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Let's check in on the text board now as promised at 609-403-0973. Plus, coming up in about 20 minutes from now, I'll give you my big picture thoughts of the football weekend and give you some picks and thoughts for Monday Night Football. Of course, you can hear Jags versus Bills tonight. Coverage begins at 7:30 right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. All right, let's get to you guys' thoughts and comments out there. Jeff from Ocean City starts us off. I mean, he was texting before the show even started. I mean, this guy is all over getting his text read before anybody else. He says, the last game of the play was a blitz that led to the Blankenship pick. It's a great point by Jeff because I think it gets overlooked that people have criticized Fangio for his pass rush and his blitzing. And while it wasn't a traditional blitz, right? It wasn't like when the Saints got the Eagles all messed up on that one play, when Ken Gainwell decided to make a business decision and not block anybody, right? Like those situations, that was a traditional blitz. There's all kinds of names for them. They call them zero coverage blitzes, where it's all man coverage on the back end, and they just bring as many people at the quarterback as they can get away with. Some people call them fire blitzes, where you bring a bunch of guys off of one side, or they call it there's another weird name for it as well. But there are different blitz packages where, for those who don't know, the blitz that most people are familiar with is when you're bringing guys who are traditionally not guys who rush the quarterback at the quarterback. But the play that Jeff is referring to, when you go back and watch it, it's actually not a traditional blitz. They're actually bringing guys whose job is to go after the quarterback anyway. They're not bringing a special corner or a safety or overloading one side of the field. What the Eagles did is they said, the Saints have 5 offensive linemen, so we're going to bring 5 men to match up with those D linemen. So it's going to be harder for these guys to double team Jalen Carter. The Eagles had a ton of success by, I've heard guys like Chris Long on the Green Light podcast, and guys like Ross Tucker and Emery Hunt on the Ross Tucker podcast. Guys that play football talk about putting a hat on a hat. The idea of, you are saying you got 5 offensive linemen, I'm going to give you 5 men for those offensive linemen to block. Good luck. We're going to find out who's better. And so the blitz Jeff and O'Shea the Eagles brought was, like many times in the game, the Eagles kept putting 5 men on the offensive line across from the Saints and basically daring the Saints, saying, if you beat us, we'll tip our hat to you. But Vic Fangio basically went to the Saints and did the opposite of what he did in the Falcons game. You go back and watch the Falcons game. There were many situations where the Eagles only had 2 down D linemen and had the 2 just outside rushers. So then what happened was, for a team like the Falcons, they said, you're only giving us 4 guys for our 5 offensive linemen to block. And if we decide to put our tight end in block as well, now we got 6 on 4. So now you're putting more opportunities for the offensive line to get the second level of the defense. Fangio in this game said, I know that they are going to want to run the ball more than the Falcons did. I've already seen teams try to run on me with the zone Shanahan concepts, right? These situations where, you don't. So I don't want to get too far off the conversation because Jeff from Ocean State, I want to get back to his point, but it's the idea that different offensive line coaches coach guys up differently. Like a Jeff Stoutland does two things which makes him great. Jeff Stoutland is a coach who says, I want you to beat your man. So it's assignment football. He tells Jordan Mailata, he tells Lane Johnson, you get that guy. You block that guy. The reason why Fred Johnson, aside from the one false start, had a good game is because Jeff Stoutland and the Eagles didn't ask Fred Johnson to block a zone or make too many judgments on his own. They weren't sending him out there to figure it out. They said, Fred, your guy is this person. Your job is to block this one guy. Your job is to deal with one man in front of you. It's assignment football. The Shanahan system runs a lot of disguises where they try to hide people. They try to manipulate to make you think, okay, well, the formation is a tight formation, so they're going to go to this guy. And then what happens is a guy like Chris Olave bleeds out from the formation and gets open easily because no one saw that coming. So for the Eagles on the final pass rush, what they did was they put 5 men on the line, which what happens? It forces the defense to no longer double team Jalen Carter. So Jalen Carter had single coverage on that play. And Jalen Carter, who was already wrecking havoc all game, basically broke through the defense. And again, it's a non-traditional blitz. Okay? It is a blitz formation that instead of bringing non-traditional pass rushers, you're actually only sending traditional pass rushers. And you're basically daring the Saints. Your guys are not as good as our guys, and we're going to beat you. And Jalen Carter got to the quarterback. The Eagles got to the quarterback, and that's how, part of the reason why Reed Blankenship got the interception. It's not the only reason. The other reason why is because Derek Carr did yesterday afternoon what Jalen Hurts did last Monday night. Derek Carr made a decision to throw the ball to one guy, like Jalen Hurts did with Devontae Smith the week before. Jalen Hurts was intent on going to Smith on that final play. Derek Carr never looked for another option on that play. He saw the guy coming in his face. He saw the Eagles coming for him, and he said, for better or for worse, I'm going the one guy. And guess what? It was for worse. 110%. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Anonymous texter chimes in and says, I think the Eagle fans can all thank the Three Stooges that ran into each other for the win yesterday. Well, it's not Three Stooges. And that is an example of why this texter is anonymous, because a texter who actually watches the game of football, understands how football works, would not call the Saints who ran into the Three Stooges on the Dallas Goedert catch that went for the big play. That was a well-executed and schemed-up play. So anyone who's ever listened to guys like Dan Orlovsky on NFL Live or a Chase Daniel on the Spin City podcast, or, I've listened to at times different quarterbacks explain this over the years. I believe I've heard, I know Tony Banks, he's friends with Dave Klemick, who is on the locker room with Billy Schweim on the weekends here on 97.3 ESPN. Tony Banks has explained this before. I've heard Peyton and Eli Manning explain this as well on the Manning cast. Okay. So I'm going to explain to you what happened on that play. That was a screen. And the reason why the Saints ran into each other is because for the first time all year, Jahan Dotson ran the right route. For the first time in the entire season. It took the guy till week 3 to do his job, as Bill Belichick would say. Jahan Dotson dragged the coverage with him and ran it in a way where it forced the Saints to converge on a spot, leaving Dallas Goedert completely wide open for the pass. And Jalen Hurts actually made a good decision. Unlike the interception in the end zone, unlike the bizarre fumble, Jalen Hurts saw that Dallas Goedert was going to get open and immediately decided, I'm going to go to that guy. And it was an incredible job of football execution by Jalen Hurts, Eagles offensive line, Jahan Dotson, and Dallas Goedert. And I think that is an example of a Kellen Moore play. That is an example of Kellen Moore's play calling. Kellen Moore is a very intelligent guy. He is a very, very sharp individual who understands, as a former quarterback, how to manipulate defenses. And I don't think it's a coincidence the play worked. The play worked because you have a situation where you are basically telling the defense, you got only a couple options on this play, and it's on you to pick and choose. Now, if you want to blame the Saints for overcommitting to Dotson, let's do that. But I kind of want to blame the Saints defensive coaches because you didn't allow the Eagles score any points for more than half the game. Then all of a sudden the Eagles start running the ball and start running more exotic plays, and you don't know what to do. It's a little bizarre to me. So either the Saints got caught with their pants down, metaphorically, obviously, or the Eagles ran a great play. And I tend to think the Eagles ran a great play. Because, again, that is an example of my complaining in the last segment where I say, I see Malik Willis, I see Geno Smith, I see Sam Darnold, I see these quarterbacks playing well with better coaching than their previous stops. If you want to include Baker Mayfield and Tampa, we can do that as well. But the larger point is that is a play where, yes, Kellen Moore had a positive impact on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense. The problem is that I need to see more of that. And I think that's where I personally get frustrated. I get frustrated because I'm looking at a Eagles team that should be able to score more than 15 points. I'm looking at an Eagles team that should be able to be more productive than that. So for me, I look at Philadelphia, and while I'm happy they won the game, and I'm thrilled that it got done. You know, you walk into a game like that, walk out of a game like that, similar vibe to when you go to a movie and you have like moderate expectations. Like you're not like, like there are certain movies or certain TV shows when they have come out with a new season and you're like extremely excited and you have such crazy expectations. But then you have other movies and TV shows that you're like, look, I kind of have a theory of what I was walking into. And then you come out of that movie or that show and you say, you know what? That was nothing like I thought it was going to be, but I'm not exactly walking out impressed by too much. It's like a movie where you're like, there was one actor who was amazing, right? Or a TV show, like, for example, The Blacklist, right? And maybe you've ever watched The Blacklist. You know that the final couple seasons of Blacklist, it felt like they were dragging the story out. It felt like they were really, really trying so hard to make this work, right? And in spite of the mediocre show writing and in spite of the bizarre ways they were connecting the puzzle pieces and the underwhelming execution of the overall story, James Spader is still great. And James Spader keeps you coming back. Just like he did with Boston Legal, he does the same thing with The Blacklist. He is an actor who keeps you coming back to the show. And even though you're underwhelmed with the performance, it's like with the Eagles. I'm underwhelmed with scoring 15 points. But I'm thrilled that Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley showed out. I am underwhelmed by the fact that the Eagles, it took them 3 weeks for their defense to figure it out. But I'm thrilled that they got it done. Check back text on the other side, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Coming up next, Monday Night Football thoughts, football weekend reactions, plus your text with me, Josh Hennig, here on 973 ESPN.
This is Kevin Harlan from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. We'll have great matchups all season long on the road to the playoffs and Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Join Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and me for one of the NFL's great traditions, Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services, heating, cooling, and plumbing. The Helpful team is now making house calls in South Jersey. Visit AceHardwareHomeservices.com to book today.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies Meaty and Tender Wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Now, for a limited time, it's buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Buy one, get one free, and enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat. Pair it with one of our handcrafted cocktails like the Stoli Vanilla Creamsicle or the Bourbon Peach Sweet Tea. Top it off with Chickie and Pete's world famous crab fries. Buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply only at Chickies and Pete's.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
With GMF financing to qualify buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales.
Stop! Yes, I said stop before you buy a car anywhere. Because right now at Bennett Chevy, you can save up to 20% off your new car. That's right. Bennett Chevy selling new Chevys at true GM supplier employee prices. Plus, and this is huge, you get to keep all the rebates. You can save up to 20%. And you'll save even more with financing as low as 0%. Yes, ZERO at Bennett on EVs. And there's available 1.9% on other models. Looking for used? Trade any old clunker for a minimum $10,000. We don't care how old or how many miles. Heck, we don't even care if it runs. Just get it here, and you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned in stock. And Bennett's exclusive non-commissioned sales team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend, so you're never hassled to pay more. You're gonna love it here. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Shop Macy's VIP sales starting Thursday.
Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest fall trends from designers that rarely go on sale. And save 15% off skincare, makeup, fragrances, and more. Plus, shop fall specials for even more great deals on top brands at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
To make switching to the new Boost Mobile risk-free, we're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Because you have nothing to lose. Boost Mobile is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
No, I asked why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Oh.
Wouldn't.
Because you love wasting money as a way to punish yourself because your mother never showed you enough love as a child?
Whoa. Easy there.
Yeah.
Applies to online activations. Requires port in and auto pay. Customers activating in stores may be charged non-refundable activation fees.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lenny Kravitz presents the Blue Electric Light Sword 2024. Live in Atlantic City. Ovation Hall and Ocean Casino Resort, Friday, November 1st. Get tickets now at theoceanac.com. Lenny Kravitz, the brand new album, Blue Electric Light, is available everywhere now. For more, visit LennyKravitz.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All right, Monday Night Football coming up tonight. You hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN and listen to the game on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app free. Thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. Before we look at the weekend as a whole, I do want to say a thank you to everyone at Doyle's Poorhouse again over in Tuckerton. We had a great Eagles watch party, great turnout. I hope you guys can join me again. We'll be back there next month for the Eagles-Giants game on October 20th. So keep it tuned here at 97.3 ESPN. Until I'm back up there, Doyle's Poorhouse, great place to watch the games. Tons of TVs. They put all the games on so you can watch them wherever you're sitting, around the bar, at the high tops, the low tables. They also got an outside area with benches and tables where you can watch the game on a big projector screen. So wherever you want to watch the game, it should be inside Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton, right there on Route 9. Thanks again to Lou and Danny, Eddie behind the bar, Alexa, the waitress. Everyone did a great job over there at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton. All right, we got Monday Football coming up tonight. I'll get that in just a couple minutes, but I have one big takeaway from the NFL weekend. We saw almost every game the underdog win yesterday. And it just goes to show you that when it comes to professional sports or football in general, matchups really matter. And The Giants did an amazing job at manipulating the Browns defense. Green Bay did a great job at taking advantage of Tennessee more often than not. The Colts probably had no business winning that game, but the Bears are so poorly coached that they had no chance but to win the game. And the Vikings defense called another amazing game. Brian Flores is going to be up for coach of the year, assistant coach of the year, the way he's coaching this year. And if I'm Brian Flores, I'm probably telling somebody I don't want to be a head coach anymore. I think Brian Flores is an amazing example. Some guys are just better coordinators than head coaches. Flores is doing an amazing job calling this Vikings defense. So, but styles make fights, they say, when it comes to boxing and MMA. And we're starting to see that play out more and more in football. So, college football this weekend as well, with Michigan beating USC. We saw it with the UCLA at LSU game. Styles really do make fights. And I think that we all as sports fans get so hung up on what happened the week before that we sometimes forget that the coaches are coaching for the next game. They're not coaching based on the last game. So maybe we need to have the same mentality. All right, tonight, Monday Night Football. So you got two games coming up tonight. We're going to have the Jags versus Bills game tonight on 97.3 ESPN. And then the other game tonight is the Commanders and the Bengals. I'll start with the Commanders and Bengals real quick. I think the Bengals win this game because they are a team that does not want to go 0-3. They are a little bit more of a desperate team. And I think that going into a game like tonight, I think that there's a couple things you got to keep an eye out for when it comes to making picks. I don't think that the Bengals defense is bad, but I know the Commanders defense is not good. So I tend to believe that I'm going to take the over in the Bengals team points today. The game is in Cincinnati. So give me the over 27.5. I think the Bengals are just a better team than Washington top to bottom. Don't let the records fool you. You know, the Commanders, they are tied for, they are a team that throws the ball a lot. And they are going to need the Bengals defense to allow them to keep throwing the ball a lot. I think the Bengals, they are going to realize in order for them to win this game, they got to get out to an early lead. And I think they will, and they'll have to keep scoring to stay ahead of Washington. I don't know if Washington's going to cover the 7.5, but I tend to think that it's going to be a game the Bengals offense can score. And then when it comes to Jags and Bills, I love Buffalo in this game. And I feel bad for Doug Peterson because this is probably going to be the beginning of the end of him in Jacksonville. This is in Buffalo. Buffalo is a very good home team. And the big play that I'm keeping an eye on in this game tonight for Buffalo is I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills to get one man into the end zone more than anyone else. One man I see getting into the end zone. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's Davis. Davis is going to get the touches in this game tonight. Not Gabe Davis, who's playing for the Jags. Okay. I just have trouble seeing Curtis Samuel being much of a part of this offense at this point. I just feel like these guys are just not dependable. So if you're going to go with anyone, I like Dalton Knox in this game. I like Keon Coleman, and I like Davis of Buffalo to all have a chance to get touchdowns in this game. Again, you hear the game coming up at 7:30 right here on 97.3 ESPN. 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CLC. Thank you all for tuning into the show. I'll catch you tomorrow. We'll have Andy McNamara tomorrow to recap all of NFL Week 3. Do our first look ahead to NFL Week 4. Also coming up later in the week, we'll have Rob Meyer from the Associated Press on Thursday, as well as a Weinberg Wednesday on Wednesday show, as well as a special guest as well on Wednesday nights. So keep it tuned right here, 97.3 ESPN. I'll be back producing with Mike Gill on Sports Bash tomorrow at 2 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in Tampa against the Buccaneers.
Mayfield back, he looks, he fires, and it's intercepted. It is intercepted. Coming up with it is Reed Blankenship.
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at noon and kickoff at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.